Some scholars believe there are infinite timelines where we exist in a different reality. You could be a doctor in this world and a president in the next. Imagine a world where flying didn't exist. The only transportation we had was motor vehicles. Now imagine that world where everyday people designed and built homemade cars. No Fords, no Teslas, no Volvos, no motor manufacturers at all. Where normal people unwittingly designed vehicles that to you and I look like airplanes, only they didn't know what one of those was. Arguably, some cars would be slow, others designed for speed. I mean, it's in our genes to want to go fast. So they built rocket cars. One such vehicle, designed and built, was just that, a rocket. Test drivers who dared to drive this one would come away with their pupils as black as night, saying they felt the devil was their co-pilot, urging them to go faster and faster. That vehicle was given the nickname the BLACKSTAR, and this is how it was built. My name is Aaron, and you're watching Terrain by Aaron. I need to make some adjustments, so the back end's got to go. Now that the back end is gone, I've now got a hole that needs filling, so I'm going to use some styrene or plasticard just to fix that gap. I trim off the excess with my nippers, and ensure that all the sides are nice and smooth. I'll use the other half's nail file just to get everything sanded down nicely. Now that I know that the fuselage has stuck together, I can take this masking tape off. Now comes the fun bit, and could just destroy this entire build entirely if I don't have 4 matching wheels. So I'm just going to check through my little bits box. Well, I've found one. Hopefully there's another 3 in here. No, they're too thin. Oh, come on. This is where I usually no, I think I have 4. Yes, I do. I have 4 matching wheels. Lovely. I quickly remember that I used the inners for these wheels on a different project, so I'm going to have to, I don't know, kitbash something together. Luckily, I remember I kitbash, and so what I'm going to do is just trace the inside onto some plasticard and then cut that out, and hopefully that will be the right circumference for the wheel. I let the wheels set with the plasticard and go back to the main build and decide to just put on the tail ends of what should have been a plane onto my vehicle. Because I don't trust my gluing, I'm just going to reinforce the super glue with a little bit of baking soda. Now this ensures that everything will be very strong and the bond won't break easily. Then I think it's time to add the cockpit glass to the front. I'm going to make a crude axle with some cut down sprue that I'm just going to stick to the back end of the tyre. It doesn't look pretty, but it works. I break out a power tool just to get through this plastic, and public service announcement, don't hold this like I'm doing. I'm not a professional, but I do trust myself a little bit more than I used to. Once all the holes are made, I just test fit the wheels just to see if everything looks okay. I'm going to use some Vallejo filler just to fill in some of these gaps in the seam. I'll just squish that down, let that dry, and then sand it all down. Oh, Aaron's broke out some gems, which means the other half is out of the house and he's gone searching for these. I'm just going to use these for the nuts on the wheels. I splodge a tiny bit of super glue and then using my wax pencil to easily pick up the gem and plop it into place. And while I do that, it's subscriber shoutouts. This segment is to say thank you to all my subscribers who leave comments. Keep them coming, it really helps the YouTuber algorithm. Also, if you're new here, subscribe. It's free to do so and really helps out the channel. Now that all the wheels are done, I can now glue them all into place. I have some small cut-offs of plasticard that I'm using a pokey tool just to try and poke some like holes in each corner to make it look like rivets. And I'll randomly place them onto the vehicle in certain areas just to make them look like they needed to patch up certain bits and pieces of the car rocket. Next, I glued 2 tubes either side on the wings to make it look like this was the fuel sort of containers. Things are going to get messy, so out comes the painting mat and some polystyrene. I'm going to use this as my base for my road for the rocket car. And if the other half asks where this towel came from, just tell her this is the one that fell off the ceiling from the bathroom. So while I pretend to look all professional using a ruler, it's code word time. If you got here before running off to either wash your hair or maybe to the glamour shots, put this code word into your comment so I know you're a watcher and not just a peeper. And the code word for this video is Speed Racer. So eagle-eyed viewers will notice that what I'm doing is I've got a top bit which is a thinner bit of ceiling tile, and if anybody knows of a good plasterer, please leave it in the comments, because I think I've got about 4 or 5 tiles now that are missing, strangely just falling off the ceiling. That's what I keep telling the other half. What I've done is I've just broke it up just to make some cracks in the road. To cover the tiles, I'm going to use some AK's asphalt scenic paste, and oh, that doesn't look right. It's all congealed at the bottom. Well, you can't see anything because of my big chunky monkey hands, but I assure you this doesn't look like paste. It looks more like porridge that you would be given in a bad restaurant. Not that I get porridge from a restaurant, not that I go to a restaurant. Anyway, I'm just going to try and get this spreaded down. Yeah, I'll probably have to go back over that with some black acrylic, but hopefully it will give me some sort of texture. Now that the paste has dried, I can go along all the edges and just paint them up and make them look a little tidier. I'm going to make some road markings, so just using some yellow paint just to gently, how can you gently paint something onto a road? I'm just going to paint some road markings. I can't believe that I wrote that in my script notes as well. Gently spraying something. That sounds so ridiculous. To paint the vehicle, I'm using Gallery's Kaleido grey primer. This gives fantastic coverage. I know I keep harping on about it. I used to do a lot of stuff with rattle cans, but these primers are fantastic and give me very good coverage. And where I would have had to go over 2-3 times with a rattle can, this is just one coat, levels itself off, and is done and dusted, and dries, well, if I'm using a hairdryer, dries within 5 minutes, but if normal air dry, within 15 minutes. And I also have a link in my description. If you want to buy some of these, you'll get an extra 10% off if you want to try out any of these paints. I wanted my vehicle to look dangerous and exciting, so I'm painting it red. Yes, I know the nickname is called BLACKSTAR, but what's the opposite of black? Oh, hang on. White. Yeah, that's the opposite. I may have made an error here. No, I'm going with red simply because I like the colour. And again, I'm using Kaleido's red Colourworks paint because again, it gives me great coverage and just one coat does all. Now let me just move that out of the way, because the last time I did transfers I had my hobby knife right underneath my finger and cut my knuckle. So lessons learnt there. I'm putting some transfers on, the number 4, because this is the 4th version of the BLACKSTAR, and you can decide what happened to the other 3. I had a subscriber of mine ask me what these silver blocks are. They're called 321 blocks. Well, that's what they were called when I ordered them. Basically, they're for architecture and stuff like that. And probably you've seen in some of my other videos where I'm using plasticard. To make a straight right angle, I'll use a little magnet just to hold the plasticard in place on one of them, put the other one on the other side, and then can join them up and get them glued. That was the longest and most worst description ever of a 321 block, but that's what I use them for. They're dead handy, and I don't understand how I never had them from the very beginning of this channel. I would probably just Google what are 321 blocks and it'll give you a better description than what I can. Painting the cockpit black. I'm going to use a darker red for the wheel hubs, and then using a sponge from the kitchen, don't tell the other half, I'm just going to try and add some chipping to the vehicle. This is an acrylic pen that has a mind of its own, and I was going to use it for some fancy writing, but then suddenly stopped when it just blurted out a massive piece of paint. So a piece of paint again. I'm terrible. I've written these notes and it's terrible. Anyway, I abandoned that idea. I used some panel liner just to bring out some of the panels in the vehicle. Then I got the airbrush back out and did some light layering of brown just to give it that dusty effect. And that's it. That's my BLACKSTAR vehicle build. The glamour shots are next. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment. Don't forget, if you know a good plasterer, leave the link there for me in the comment, because the bathroom is looking a little bare now with all these missing tiles. Just don't tell the other half. And so until next time, keep scratching that build, everybody. Thanks very much for watching.